Can you hear me now? Yes, you can. Now I need to kill this echo. Okay, now I think everybody can hear me. So, I thought I had set this up for the external microphone on the laptop to hear me, but it turns out it's still connected to my headset, which was in my laptop bag. So all that stuff I just talked about, it's gone forever. Well, nobody can hear me. Uh, Basically, I've been sitting here. I've been in traveling. I've traveled to Wisconsin. I've had roommates all week. I got sick while I was here, but I did go see Logan on Saturday morning. And then after that, I just crashed here on the couch all day and watched the Star Wars marathon and napped mostly because I was sick. Uh, So I'm here in lovely Wisconsin, and I wasn't able to do this show last week because I was sharing the corporate apartment with other people. Let's see, what else is going on with me? Oh, I've been fighting with my endocrinologist because I'm out of insulin. I got that fixed today, and then I've been fighting with one of the doctor's offices that I had worked with that I say worked with, one of the doctor's offices that had treated me over the summer. They've been chasing me after a bill that my insurance company said I didn't have to pay. Went ahead and paid it anyway at the end of the year, and then they promptly sent it to a collections agency. So I got that fixed today too, and I feel accomplished in addition to working a lot today. Um, People asked me questions. I have this up on the other screen, so I'm going to Alt Tab to it. How about the topic of wiretapping? Was it Obama, the Clintons, or is Trump making this stuff up? Well, the answer to that is until Trump can present actual evidence of actual wiretapping, then it's not true. That's the important part of accusations. You need evidence to back them up, and it's not just Trump. Everyone else needs evidence to back them up as well. So when you we everyone throws in it's no different than it was between 2008 to 2016 when my conservative friends were throwing up constant questionable links regarding the birther issue as well as Obama is a Muslim. Every time I saw those, sorry about the hiccup there. The system was telling me that I have a bad Wi-Fi signal. I don't know. I'm here. As I was saying, when my conservative friends were posting things like the birther issue and Obama is a Muslim stuff, they had nothing to back it up with. The same thing, and it's just as much the same thing now that I'm seeing is that my liberal friends are posting a crap ton of stuff without anything to substantiate it as well. I'll give you the more extreme examples. Um, One guy I know posted when Neil Gorsuch was nominated for Supreme Court Justice. He posted a Neil Gorsuch quote, but it turned out to be a David Duke quote. I pointed it out to the dude. He still refused to believe me. Uh, he says he knows it's absolutely true. There's no way it can be untrue, despite the fact that I proved it false. And he posted another thing the other day about Steve, Steve Bannon, a Steve Bannon quote about how if you really love your wife, you'll beat her. And I'm like crudely paraphrasing it and stuff like that. I was able to easily disprove it on Snopes in less time than it took me to say that entire sentence right there. So question everything you read. I'm going to reiterate this again. Question everything you read. Not just Don't just believe the stuff that fits your preconceived point of view. Question it all. There's got to be. I mean, there's got to be a you got to have some rationality and some common sense into all this stuff. It's like I one of the other things I can point out is somehow vaccinations became a political issue, and I don't understand why vaccinations became a political issue. Vaccinations have been uh, proven to help people. There's no scientific evidence to ever say that it never helped anybody, other than some debunked doctor from the it was some doctor's claim and well, some guy who claimed to be a doctor in the 90s. Turned out he was full of crap. And it was debunked years later. And then I think Jenny McCarthy was one of the ones. She was a former Playmate model, and I guess that makes her a scientist as well. She was former Playmate promoting this. No, she was promoting the vaccinations linked to autism, and nobody can. It's not completely unsubstantiated. And it's the same thing with this wiretap issue. Until we see actual documentation that the wiretapping is real, then it's an unsubstantiated claim along with everything else. And if you want to ask me questions while I'm doing this, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm going to flip back to the other screen and see what else was asked. Kelly Ray asked me, who do I think will win the 2020 question or 2020 presidential election? I think it's way too early to tell at this point. I'll have a better gauge and guide 1 year from now. I'm gonna give Trump a chance first. He hasn't done, other than saying stupid stuff a lot, he hasn't done anything that's really alarmed me as far as policies and things like that are concerned, because I can point to other examples of other things that presidents have done in the past. It's just that you have unbridled Trump hate along just the same way you had unbridled Obama hate for the previous 8 years before that. It's way too early to tell who's going to be the next president. We just need to give it we need to give it time to see where it's going. If it's going to be a train wreck, then the midterms will swing towards the Democrats, and then the 2020 election will swing towards the Democrats as well. My favorite Bill Paxton roles from Joel Kent Barrett. Um, dude was he was too good in everything. I mean, he's not going to be one of those actors. He was more of a supporting actor than he was a main leading man. But I remember the dude from Terminator. He's the one that tried to come up on against Arnold Schwarzenegger and stab him, and it didn't work out. And he was the game over. He was Hudson in Aliens, game over man. He was always whining, but the guy was memorable. I think my one of my favorite roles, and it was just a fun role for him. Was in the movie True Lies when he was that shady used car salesman trying to, and then he that's when he's doing that whole pitch to Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife in that movie, who was Jamie Lee Curtis, about being a secret agent. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose because it was itchy. He's trying to be a secret agent, a fake secret agent, and then basically between Arnold Schwarzenegger's character and Tom Arnold's character, they scare the poop out of, or they scare the pee out of him, and the dude pees his shorts on screen. But he was hilarious in that role, and I think there was a movie he did later on and it was a good movie too. It was a very little known film. I think the movie was called Frailty, where he's kind of like this creepy dad preacher character. I don't know if anybody remembers it or not, but I remember him being really good in that role. I only saw it once, and it was around 2004, 2005, and I haven't seen it again since. But if you have any favorite Bill Paxton roles, feel free to shout them out in the comments section. And everyone remembers him from Twister, and then another recent favorite movie of mine, and I saw Joel had written this online as well, was he was Sergeant something or another in Edge of Tomorrow, it's a Tom Cruise movie. It's got Emily Blunt in it, but it's going to be one of those standout memorable films for me as and it's science fiction, but it's still, I mean, it's going to be one of those movies that's going to stick with me for a long time because um, it's like kind of like a looping time travel type movie where Tom Cruise relives his death over and over again. Not the fun way like Groundhog Day or anything like that. It's basically an alien invasion, but he plays this tough master sergeant in this movie, and it was a good role for him as well, and it was one of the most recent roles I remember him being in. Uh, Flipping back to the questions, John Parker Strode asks, "How do you think Westworld is grand?" And I think it's friggin' awful. I like Westworld. I grew up with Westworld as a child. I remember the 1973 science fiction movie. It was I think it was directed by Michael Crichton. It might have been written by him as well. I'll give you the premise. If you haven't seen Westworld, it's a theme park with robots that are there for your desires. If you want to shoot and kill them, you can shoot and kill them, and they bleed like humans. If you want to have sex with robots, they behave like girl robots, boy robots. Um, and the premise of the 1973 movie is that there's a computer virus, which no one had ever heard of computer viruses at the time, but it's plaguing the robots at the resort, and the robots go nuts and they start killing people. And one of the memorable roles from that film is Yul Brynner, if you remember him from uh, The Magnificent Seven and The King and I. He plays the Man in Black, the relentless robot gunman that's chasing down one of the guests, who, the guest has to kill him eventually by, I think he doused the robot's face in acid, then set him on fire and all that other kind of stuff. Well, this TV show is a remake, was kind of a spiritual sequel to the movie, but it's got different themes to it in the sense that you still have the robots. They're there to do the people's whim. They're there as sex robots, sex slaves. They're there for you to shoot and kill and maim. You can be the hero of the day. You can be a villain. You can be whatever you want to. Um, and the guests, they pay pretty penny. They pay a lot of money to do this. Um, the best thing about this show is that the robots themselves are more human than the actual humans who are presented as more more cruel and vicious and villainous. And another great thing about the show is the acting to it. You have Anthony Hopkins, who basically is the creator of the park, and he's going back to, I mean, it's kind of more like he's reliving his Hannibal Lecter role. And then who else do you have? You have Tandy Newton as one of the robots. You have Evan Rachel Wood as one of the robots, and you have Ed Harris as the Man in Black. But the Man in Black is actually human. And the story, not to give anything about the story away, but you follow several guests as they go into the park, and these robots are starting to become self-aware of themselves too. It's a great show. I say give it a chance if you haven't seen it yet. If you have HBO Go, you can binge watch it probably, and you can catch up to it on the off season. All right, I have another question here. Joel also asked me, what are my thoughts on the movie Life, and if I think it's a knockoff of Alien. I won't know for sure until I've seen it, and then I can make that determination, but it does look interesting. Um, I've seen the commercials have been all over the place for the last couple of weeks, and I think it comes out at the end of the month, last weekend of the month. But I do want to, as far as the movie trailer premise is concerned, it looks interesting to me. Uh, People on the International Space Station, they collect a sample from a satellite that from Mars, and it turns out to be some kind of single cell organism, and it grows, and from the commercial, it looks like it's terrorizing the crew. That sounds like, kind of exactly like the premise of Alien, but let's see if they can tell this story in such a new way that we're going to like it and we're going to hold on to it. I'm actually more interested in seeing the alien movie that's coming out in May, Alien Covenant. I know it's supposed to be a sequel to Prometheus. I know Numi Rapace is in it, and I probably butchered her name. And Michael Fassbender is in it, but he's playing several roles in it this time. I'd rather see Alien Covenant, and it's got Ridley Scott directing and executive producing again. And this is the guy who did the first Alien way back in '79, and he's done a lot of your favorite movies over the last 30 years. Um, Movies like Blade Runner, movies like Thelma and Louise, G.I. Jane, Gladiator is another favorite one. He's one of my favorite directors, and I've been watching his films for a long time. Uh, but I'm more interested in seeing Alien Covenant than I am in Life. But I'll watch both. I'll check the reviews for Life first before I go. I'm more discerning about what movies I spend money on these days. If it's got a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes, then I'll go see it. If it looks like crap, then well, if it gets crap reviews, then I'll wait for it on video. I'll still see it anyway. Um, Something else I'm concerned with is this right here. I'm seeing way too much scalp in here. So when I return to Dallas, I think it's time for it to all go and to keep it all gone this time, because I don't think it's coming back. Certainly not while I am on chemo, and that's going to be fun because I I did chemo couple of weeks ago, then it flew straight here, then I fly back on Friday, and I start chemo again on Wednesday, and it'll be the 14th round this time. So does anyone have any questions? I talked a lot this time. I talked 22 minutes. Maybe I had a lot to tell you. Now's your chance. Oh, I have a medal over here. I have this. I have no idea what this is, but it's hanging off the intercom back here. But maybe I can feel like a winner. Hi, Taylor. How is the brick house? It's Monday night and you're bored, aren't you? I bet you are. Should I wear this? This is a Rock and Soul half marathon. No, I can't wear it. I haven't ran this marathon. I'm just gonna hold it up and act like I'm a winner. Yay. Taylor, I will see you this weekend because I return to Dallas on Friday night. And I have nothing else to tell you at this moment, so I'm going to kill this broadcast unless somebody asks a question in the next 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, Christina. We'll see you this weekend.